What are you up to?
How you doing?
Doing good.
I recorded today a new Abby episode and I started editing it. Man, I tell you, I gotta get some editing done, but it's a process, yo. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to follow the universe and do the things. How about you?
Nothing much. Just, same old shit.
Band practice.
Yeah, we had band practice today.
Wait.
Yeah. It was all right.
You guys just go to like somebody's house or?
Yeah, we go to my buddy's house. Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah. And they got to see Luna.
Oh, Luna. Poofa was up here for a hot second. He had to, I don't know if I sent you any pictures. He had to get a haircut because he was too matty. And now he's all like, there's just nothing to him. He's all fluff.
Yeah. Well, Luna's thing is if you have a beanie on your head or anywhere near you that is obviously yours, it has to be hers.
You gotta love that.
She tried stealing my beanie yesterday, and fuck that. There's a $35 beanie. You ain't taking this.
That's not a toy.
Fuck no.
That is not a chew toy.
But I'm Jonny.
And I'm Haleigh. And this is Jonny Haleigh. Day of
Fun.
Yeah.
True that. So you enjoyed that
holy fucking shit. You don't even know how excited I am to talk about this shit because listen, ancient goddamn aliens is my jam.
Well, like Ancient Aliens just always made me laugh because of that guy with that fucked up hairdo. What is up with
Giorgio
that?
Tsoukalos. I know.
Oh, what's going on with that shit?
I swear to God, I loved watching Ancient Aliens partly just to see how crazy his hair was in that episode.
It was always just a fucking bird's nest, just everywhere.
But it's gelled, so you know it's on purpose. So he's doing it on purpose.
That's even worse, though. That's premeditated.
I know. That's why I'm like, I don't understand what, like, are you going for some kind of crazy person look specifically? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I never thought the Albert Einstein would be fucking back in style.
Well, and the way, I don't know if you've ever seen it, like the way he dresses, he like thinks he's fucking Indiana Jones, you know?
Yeah. Well, to be that fucking crazy of a person, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like extraterrestrials are crazy and all that shit.
No,
but
he's got
your life to it. You would have to be some kind of
He's got an energy though. Like he does have an energy to me that's like, I think you're just kind of like playing around with wild theories. Cause that's what I like about Graham Hancock.
Yeah.
Like I like that he's got a more, I don't know if serious is the right word, but like, you know, he's visiting these places and he's going about it in a journalistic way.
Well, that's the thing. Like Graham Hancock, he never claims to be anything but a journalist. You know what I mean? Because like I have a few of his books. I have Fingerprints of the Gods.
Yeah, I want to read that one.
Yeah, and I have Magicians of the Gods, which are one's before the other one. But
I can't remember.
There's also a book that he wrote called Ancient America, I think.
Okay.
And it's about it's about like Aboriginal people.
Well, it's got to be like the Chaco Indian.
What's that?
Oh, I don't know. Like I think about the Chaco Indians because I know they've got like, who came over in boats? Shit! Now I gotta go do more research.
Yeah, but like that's the thing behind that because they found stuff. They found prehistoric things like artifacts and things in like around like the Baja of California and Mexico, and then like California itself. And they are basically Aboriginal people. Like they're like
so like they somehow got from Australia.
Yeah, they're like the black Aboriginal people with like the the frizzy kind of hair and all that stuff.
It's funny. I don't know. I'm gonna have to find the video of it. I don't know if you've ever heard of like the Aboriginal dream walk. We're just gonna go ahead and talk about all the crazy things that we like and just stream of consciousness this shit.
Did you say Dreamwalker?
Yeah, so the Aboriginal dream walking, where so
Okay.
this is like something that they, it's like a cultural thing that they do. And it's also something that, like, in the various other things that I watch, they've talked about is something that people in Atlantis times could still do, where they can, like, take you into a memory with them. So, like, they can take you into like one of their own memories, like as if it's a dream, so you can see it and you can like touch things and hear things and smell things. It's like walking through a holographic reality or whatever, and they can take you along and show you things.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I don't know, it's fascinating because the thing that I've, in all of my, various rabbit holes that I go down,
Yeah.
fucking Atlantis, that's what I like. I think it was on one of the YouTube channels I watch called Spirit Science, and they can get like a little preachy, so I don't always necessarily like their stuff, but like,
Yeah.
they talk about how, like, in Atlantean times, and I forget where some of this comes from, like Pluto, because Pluto, is it Pluto or Socrates? I think it's Pluto.
Well, yeah. Well, Atlantis was what, in the Mediterranean?
Atlantis was like down in like the Gulf of Mexico or a little further out, like Bermuda Triangle. Atlantis, like, because that's the thing that they talk about, is that Atlantis sunk is in the Bermuda Triangle, and that's why weird things happen in the Bermuda Triangle, because there's ancient technology there that like glitches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's why they say there's not written, like, you can't find written stuff of Atlantis, because they didn't need to write things down, because they could just take everyone, like, I could just take you and show you this memory or show you what I'm talking about. I don't have to write it down. I can just show it to you.
Yeah.
It's like the dream walking.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, as far, I thought, like, one of the coolest things that I thought, like, a culture, like a primitive culture, thinking something, like thinking the body reacting some way or something. I always thought the Native Americans, when they would kill somebody in the winter.
What?
Well, okay. Native Americans, when they would kill, basically when you would kill like something or someone in the winter, that where the wound is, steam would be coming out because your body temperature, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Native American cultures thought that that was the soul leaving the body.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. To some degree, they're not wrong.
Yeah. I thought, that was just something kind of like a superstition into, like, because Native Americans.
No,
like,
there's like fun stuff like that, that
dead,
the way that
and all that stuff.
the way that they view things. I mean, but that's interesting.
Yeah, but I like that always stuck with me just because I thought it was a cool analogy. Just the soul leaving the body when steam's coming out of a wound.
Yeah, it's not entirely wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, they were primitive cultures, so they probably truly thought that. You know what I mean?
Not that this has anything to do with the aliens necessarily, but along those lines, like, I've read this book, Vampires, Burials, and Death, and it's like how the idea of vampires kind of came about or whatever. And like one of the things in there actually has to do with the Grim Reaper, that the image of the Grim Reaper with the sigh might have come from practices that they were using to prevent vampires or like undead coming back and walking. They would bury like a sigh like that of like over someone's neck, so that if they would try to get out of the grave, they would decapitate themselves and like, and the zombie in the grave kind of thing. And that because they later found those sickle sigh things in graves, like some cartoonist made a cartoon of death with a sickle.
Yeah.
Like, I like stuff like that's just interesting to me. Like,
yeah. Well, there was also the ancient like Celts.
Yeah.
They would if they had superstitions of like vampires or zombies or something like that. They had superstitions of the undead coming out of a grave.
Yeah.
So what, like, a lot of people thought it was like vampires they were superstitious about, because some cases they would bury the person with a rock in their mouth.
Yeah.
So they couldn't bite, basically. You know what I mean? If they came back from the dead.
There were other, I don't remember that one. It is, well, because there's other like that book that I read, like there were some other cultures that would put food in to where when they buried them in the coffin or whatever for the same reason, so that they would eat the food instead of go and try to bite people. Yep. Like, yeah. I love that stuff. It's so interesting.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, we don't have to just talk about aliens. We can talk about all kinds of shit.
Oh, fuck yeah, because I will talk about all kind of shit. But I did love that. So we watched Ancient Apocolpyse.
Ancient Apocolpyse, yeah.
With Graham Hancock. I do got to read those books, man, because I love that shit.
I to be honest, I bought them thinking I was going to tear through them, and I haven't read a whole lot of them.
I probably would get it on Audible and like listen while I was doing something else. I'm more of a listener for books anyway.
I have a lot of books in my apartment, and I've read very little of them.
Yeah, you and me both. I usually end up getting the audiobook and listening to it instead.
Like I have a really cool travel book that Henry Rollins wrote called A Preferred Blur.
Okay.
That is supposed to be really good, and I've had it for a year, and I think I've tore through a chapter of it. You know what I mean?
Do you do that too, where you like read a couple chapters of a book and put it on the shelf, and then read a couple chapters of this book and put it on the shelf?
Oh yeah, like I buy these books thinking I'm gonna read them, and I don't. Like, I bought this book because I'm going to definitely read it someday, and it's hard to find. It's like I had to buy this used. Hold on, I had to buy this used, and it was. Let me check the date on it. It's from.
It looks pretty old. I see it's got them pages that look like they got that smell.
Yeah, 1974.
Oh shit! What is that?
And this cost $2.25 when it was published.
Lenny Bruce. What is it?
It's called, Ladies and Gentlemen, Lenny Bruce. It's the long-awaited biography of America's most controversial comic.
I love it.
Lenny Bruce was a comedian around the time of like, I don't know. He was a comedian, I think, in like the maybe the 50s or 60s.
Okay, I know. I know Lenny Bruce is mentioned in that song "Rent" from the musical.
Yeah, but like he basically was a comedian during like the times of like burlesque clubs and shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it talks a lot about him just going out and getting fucked up at clubs and then, doing comedy.
I mean, what else did you do back in the day?
But like this book is supposed to, like any stand-up, like there's stand-up comics, like big caliber stand-up comics that say if anyone is going to aspire to be a comedian, they should read this book.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Very cool. Well, that's a thick-ass book, though.
I mean, Lenny Bruce was...
Like, how big is the print on that book? Because that's a thick-ass book right there.
Let's see. It goes... hold on. What's the last page?
No, how big is the print? Like, how much how much reading are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
that's a standard book type. That's a fat ass book, yo.
809 pages.
Oh shit. All right, get on it, yo. That's your.
But eventually, yeah.
Love it.
The weird thing, like, I'm a weird kind of person when it comes to like summer, because when it's summertime,
yeah,
that's probably when I read the most because I stay in the fucking air conditioning. You know what I mean?
Oh no, yeah, I know. It's like, it's tough, man.
Yeah,
I don't know what my problem is, that I need to have like a steady temperature of like, I can't deal with, I don't want to be dealing with lower than, I'll go as low as like 45, but I don't want to be lower than that. I'm not digging this wintertime cold, but also I can't be any hotter than like 78 degrees.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know where I have to live for that. I like probably San Diego is like the only place that just always has nice weather.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like the summertime, I'll go out and do stuff here and there, but like for the most part, I don't deal with heat very well. Like,
No, I don't either.
like a lot of people can sit out in the fucking sun and shit. I just don't deal with it very well. Like, I sweat.
Well, you can't sit out in the sun either because you'll turn into a little raisin like in no time.
Well, but even when I put on sunscreen and stuff like that, it's like I can be out in the sun, but my problem is my body overheats so much and I sweat so much.
And like I'm not about it. I'm not a sunbather. I can't lay in the sun. If I was swimming, it'd be fine. That'd be one thing. Like you'd tell your temperature regulated differently if you're swimming.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's fucking
I don't know how we got here.
Yeah, pretty much. But
books.
Yeah, I was talking. Yeah, the books. Graham Hancock. That first episode was about that step pyramid in Indonesia.
Indonesia. Yeah. Gunung Padang. I don't know how. I don't think I know how to say it properly.
Padang or something. Gunung Padang.
Yeah, Padang. I don't know how to say it properly. But
I did write down some details about it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Well, I love that. So it's like the rocks around it are not necessarily, it's not unusual necessarily for rocks to form that way naturally. So it's been basically like ignored for a very long time. Nobody bothered to research it.
Yeah. But like the way that they came up with like a head scratcher in that situation was they grow naturally like this, vertical.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And they were placed horizontal.
Right. And they also had something, there was like one of the columns, they tested it and it was from somewhere else. Like, so they brought the rocks from somewhere else. Like they're not from that like it was put there.
Yeah, they're supposed to like there were like 5,000 blocks weighing a third of a ton. That were carried up that hill.
Like you look at that, like obviously a drone shot or whatever, but that aerial fucking, that's a high up goddamn mountain to be carrying that much weight. How they be doing that? And if it, if they're doing it the hard ass way, why?
Yeah. Well, it said the blocks, they said blocks up to about 5,000 blocks. And they said weighing 1/3 of a ton were carried up a hill 360 feet, almost like, at a
like very steep. And because they had to lay the pieces to make like a, what would you call it? Like a base or a, because it's not natural for like they had to create
they call them terraces.
That's what a terrace is. Like they had to create the terrace levels. So it's the same as like if people would do landscaping in their yard. It's like, it's obviously man-made. It's obviously done by humans.
Yeah. I wonder if they did those for because like the one in Peru, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of them in South America, right? Yeah. Like I think Peru. Is it is Machu Picchu in Peru or Mexico?
Machu Picchu. Yeah, Machu Picchu. Yep.
Or is that
because the pyramid.
I don't know geography. I'm not a fucking I have a degree in film, people, okay?
Yeah, Machu Picchu is the Mayan. Oh no. Yeah, Mayan. Yep, Mayan.
Because the Incans, who is that? Quetzalcoatl is.
Wait. It might be Incan, because
I can't remember now.
Because
we're good. Hey, email us JonnyHaleighDof@gmail.com. There's that tell us, give us a breakdown in a nice bullet point, easy, and we'll totally read it.
Yeah, because Chichen Itza, that's in Mexico.
Okay,
that's that step pyramid. Or
but I mean, they have a lot of them in South America. The sort of terraced step pyramid ones.
But like that's the big one. When people go to, I think, Mazatlan.
Oh yeah.
It's close to that resort or resorts that you go in Mazatlan.
Yeah.
So let's
go Mexico, there. But support our Patreon so that we can go visit these places.
Yeah.
But so.
Well, there's the reason I was saying this is because those terraces, I think in South America, weren't they used for like agriculture?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I think they had to build it up that way It was something to do with like irrigation or the water, like to keep the water from running off. Like they had to create those terraces to have space to grow crops and stuff. Yeah. I'm pretty sure something like that. You feel free to email us if I'm wrong.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that is accurate to say.
Well, I really I've been watching Graham Hancock for a long, long time, just his interviews and stuff like that.
Like on YouTube or like him on because he's in a lot of stuff. Like he's in
like I watch him a lot on podcasts, like Joe Rogan. He's on Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, see, I haven't seen the interviews, but I want to look them up now, even though
well
Joe Rogan. Who can we just take a pause? Why does Joe Rogan, the guy who used to be the fucking Fear Factor guy, why does he get to be so controversial? He used to make people eat spiders for money.
I don't know.
How does it get to be that he's so controversial? Like what?
He's the biggest media outlet on the earth. I think he's worth $1 billion just by himself. Like by his media outlet is worth $1 billion.
Well, look out, Joe Rogan. We be coming for you at the Jonny Haleigh DOF podcast.
Right.
Thank you. But I do want to watch some of that stuff, Graham Hancock, the interviews that he had, because I bet they have to be like probably hour or more long interviews. So that's got to be
like if you're gonna go watch Joe Rogan podcast, he's on Joe Rogan quite a bit in his podcast. Yeah, like him and another guy are on there a lot, but his podcast can vary from 2 hours. I've seen him go all the way to 3.5 hours.
Oh fuck, shit. Well, very.
But they just talk about he talks about the Olmecs a lot. Do you know about the Olmecs?
Yeah. Kind of. I don't know. Remind me though.
Yeah. But
I'm thinking about the Dogons or the Dogons or however you say it, but that's not what was the Olmecs?
The Olmecs were like the OG were like the civilization in South America, like the Mayans before the Mayans. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Like they were
the earliest like the earliest tribes or civilizations or whatever that were.
Yeah, okay. Have you ever seen those huge head sculptures that look like they have a helmet? Like right here?
Oh, so not the Easter Island ones that are straight. No. Yeah, the round. But they're more round.
Yeah. The theory that like Graham Hancock talked about, I don't know, I can't remember if he talked about it or somebody else had this theory, but they think that they were actually, because all the features on the statues look African. They look
but they're in South America.
South America. They have big lips and they have like African features.
Oh yes, now I know what you're talking. Like I can imagine it now in my head. You say that.
Yeah. So a theory of that is that travelers from Africa landed there and they created a civilization. But the Olmecs were like the Mayans, the Aztec, the Inca, but they were like the OG of those three.
How those ones splintered off like from that original.
Probably. Like the Olmecs were like the leaders of that region. You know what I mean? And they were that kind of culture. But there's also a crazy thing that Graham Hancock talks about where they're starting to find pyramids and shit in the rainforest.
Oh, I gotta look that up because I know I've been seeing where they're like a lot of the underwater stuff they're finding, like the underwater structures, like pyramids and cities and shit.
Yeah,
they're in the rainforest. Shit. I thought we done cut down all the rainforest.
No,
I didn't know there was still places that we ain't destroyed yet.
Yeah, but no, like they use like radar, like penetrating radar or whatever, to get through the like to just basically fly around and look under the trees.
Yeah,
and they found remnants of civilizations in the rainforest. Now, the weird thing about that is they found the weird thing about that is civilizations can't really survive in a rainforest because you can't grow your own food. But
so they would have had to have been hunter-gatherers, and why would hunter-gatherers build monuments?
Well, there's that theory. Yep. Well, the theory about hunter gatherers is they weren't sophisticated enough to build this stuff. So I mean that can, but like Graham Hancock, I'm pretty sure he was like throwing this theory out because they found remnants of agriculture in rainforest. Now he thinks that this culture was this culture was sophisticated enough where he thinks they almost made their own enriched soil.
Like they were composting?
Well, not even composting. Like they were like, I don't know if they were composting or what, but he says they basically
but they're purposefully making the soil different than it is.
Yeah, but they also had to grow things with very little sunlight to no sunlight at all.
Yeah.
So it had to have been so like nitrogen enriched soil, you know what I mean, or something
to be able to compensate for the lack of sunlight.
Kind of. I mean, because like that's the thing. It's like there was remnants of like agriculture in a rainforest, and it made no sense because you can't grow anything where they can't get fucking sunlight. You know what I mean?
Right. There's only a certain kind of plants that naturally grow.
Yeah. That's why that's why in a rainforest there's canopies because the trees are getting sunlight that way.
Man, I'm gonna have to go down such a fucking rabbit hole watching all the Graham Hancock stuff now.
I love Graham Hancock.
I love this shit.
But like he or the Göbekli Tepe or whatever.
I love the stuff about God. So they talk about that a lot in that ancient civilization show I told you about. And I love the idea that it might have been like the actual Tower of Babel that's talked about in the Bible. That like it might have been. So Göbekli Tepe is the one that it's somewhere in Turkey, I think.
It's in Turkey. Yep.
Which is also, they say, and if you watch, there's a show on Gaia TV too. Oh shit, I can't remember. It's called The Initiation, I think. Matias De Stefano. This guy remembers all of his like past lives and past lives on other planets and star systems. And like his purpose in life is to tell us all, help us remember that we did have ancient alien ancestors and like tell us about Atlantean times and all kinds of crazy shit. How did I get to here? Where was it? Sorry, I just went off on a tangent and lost my own train of thought.
Oh, that's fine. But,
was it pyramid? No.
Göbekli Tepe.
That one. Yep. So Turkey is also the location of where like the so-called Garden of Eden is, so they say too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was a whole tangent. But Göbekli Tepe is like kind of like if you imagine almost the Leaning Tower of Pisa if it was built into the ground.
Yeah.
Because it's all like, what is it? It's only like, they say there's like, is it like 5% is excavated and the rest of it is deep underground?
Yeah, it just looks like a hill. Like, Göbekli Tepe translates to Potbelly Hill.
Yeah.
So it was in. And the thing about that too is Graham Hancock, he dives deep into that, like deep.
Yeah.
It was buried, like discriminately buried. You know what I mean? Like purposefully
buried.
Yeah, yeah. They
built the hill around it and buried it.
It was
like
buried.
The Undertaker buried a live match with Mick Foley.
Yeah, but like it was like chambered. It had a ton of chambers.
Yes.
And it was, I think they said it was like, they think it was like a ritual site or something like that. Because it wasn't,
well,
people didn't live there, they said, because there was no remnants of like people living there.
No, yeah, it wasn't, it was kind of the same as like they didn't find at the Gunung Patter, they didn't find any human bones. So it wasn't a burial site. So
it wasn't a burial site either.
They're not sure what it was for. Yeah. But Göbekli Tepe, that's it. It was not for a living site, but then because it's in the Ancient Civilization show. What's her name? Linda Moulton Howe. You've probably seen her. She's on those, like a lot of those same shows.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
So she's talk about how the pillars that you see around in a circle in Göbekli Tepe look like that kind of T shape at like the kind of T stone on the top, and they look like tuning forks. So like they think that it might have been more something of like for resonance, like a tuning fork. And maybe that is how it was the Tower of Babel, is that it like somehow has some vibrational resonance that would allow
Yep.
everyone to communicate in the same language
Yep.
or understand each other. Like
Yeah.
everyone could communicate.
Yep. And then also like I got two things. Hold on.
Oh, but you were talking
Well,
about the underground chambers.
no. I was gonna say at Chichen Itza, the
Yeah.
pyramid or whatever. There's
Mhm.
also a thing like that where it's built to the point where you can basically these squares were built where you could have your voice amplified, like you could address a crowd of hundreds
Yeah.
without
And it's
amplification.
but that's one of the things that like, so that's like one of the theories that I absolutely love. The whole like humans built this back in the day either with the help of extraterrestrials or because they had a technology where they understood how to use sound vibration to move those blocks instead of like they weren't physically lifting or moving things to build those places.
Yeah.
They knew how to use sound and vibration to get things to move and place them.
Yeah.
But like it's interesting. There's like a lot of them.
That is an interesting theory. It is like that they move like because there's
they proved it in science that they can do it. Like you can see experiments where they do it.
Yep, you can do it. They think that some people have the theory that's how the pyramids of Giza were built.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like, but there's oh fuck, I'm gonna have to look it up. Did we talk about it before? There's a guy that like sometime in the late 1800s or early 1900s, like some guy built his own like monolithic site somewhere by himself, and like no one knows how he did it, and they think it's because he had figured out some technology like that where he could vibrate things into place.
Yeah,
I can't remember. Fuck, nah, I don't remember the guy's name. I'm gonna have to rewatch all my shows and find it.
well, like, but they think a lot of people think that the pyramids and stuff like in these structures were built by slaves. But a lot of people have the theory that that couldn't be because of how sophisticated they were. Slaves didn't,
they're sophisticated. They're mathematically perfect. They're like aligned in certain ways that is like, how could they have done that if they didn't have some advanced technology?
Yeah, well, like
we can't even come close to the precision that they have in the current things that we have available.
Yeah, well, like go back to like Tepe or whatever. Yeah. Those pyramids are 3D carved. And
which one?
You know what I mean?
No, sorry, my brain is not.
Okay. So the picture of what they're carving isn't carved into the stone. The stone is carved around what the picture is that they're trying to create. You know what I mean?
Like a 3D printer, not a 3D printer.
Like basically
like a laser chisel.
Yeah, like but precise is though, because that's why a lot of people don't understand that fucking thing, that monolithic site, because they think they're at that time we perceive only hunter-gatherers really exist.
Yeah, like how do they do that? But it's like that is some advanced ass technology.
Well, this culture, that's one of the reasons why they're like this, it couldn't have been hunter-gatherers, because these pillars are carved like they're like three-dimensional carved. Basically, okay, like it would be like
sculpted, sort of.
Yeah, it's like the picture of what they're trying to carve out. You know what I mean? Like they're all animals, I believe. But
I see. I now have to rewatch the Göbekli Tepe stuff and look closer at it.
But look at the pillars, because the pictures of the animals come out of the pillar. You know what I mean? So the pillar's carved out. It's carved. The pillar's carved.
It's almost like when you see like old school like wood molding carved, like like poking out, sculpted, however you would say,
but they have no idea how that could be because they were perceived as just hunter-gatherers.
Well, like in the first episode of that Ancient Apocalypse with the Graham Norton, Graham Hancock, Graham Norton, like he talks about how it's not like, if you look at our world today, we have very advanced civilizations and also still have hunter-gatherer civilizations that exist around the world. So it's not,
that's a good point.
It's not out of the question to think that there could have been both hunter-gatherer civilizations and advanced technological civilizations prehistory.
Well, not to mention how easily that could have been, because we have the fucking internet now, and there's still hunter-gatherer societies that have no connection. The only connection they have with us is we have the internet and we can find them now. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, but there are still,
but they don't care. You know?
There's absolutely untouched by technology and all that, and they live that way. And it's not out of the question. It's not unbelievable to think that could have been back in the day too. We have it now.
Yeah, but I thought of that, like, because and there was more land back then too.
Yeah, that's interesting. So in that first episode too, he talks about, is it
less people,
Sunderland?
More land, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Like where
Indonesia used to be 5 times the size.
Yeah, it was like a whole continent basically.
And it was one piece of land.
Yeah, and it's now like it's the islands of where is it? Not Madagascar.
Java.
But they also think that maybe the people from in Indonesia, Gunung Padang, however you say it, went from there over to, because what did they find? They found something that was like similar. Was it architecture of some kind or some kind of? Because I know they talk about because it's another ancient flood myth, and you have those ancient flood myths in like cultures from around the world. So it's like it's not a fake thing or just happens that like all the cultures around the world who are separated by oceans came up with the same story that there was a great flood. Like, no, there was a big, huge rush of water when there shouldn't have been. And all this land that used to be above sea level got swallowed up by the oceans in so many different places. It's
and then you got the old, of course, the Bible always knows best. You got the
story of Noah.
Story. Oh God!
You know what I love though?
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
This like how they talk about in the ancient alien theories and things like that Noah's Ark would have actually been more like a genetic storage. They wasn't the actual animals. They kept like the genetic materials of the animals and the whatever, and they recreated it after the flood with just the genetic materials. I don't know, but like, I do definitely like, you can't look at how like the Bible and so many other cultures have an ancient flood myth and say that it didn't happen, especially when you're getting all of this new evidence. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the theory behind like in Africa that they have like the big mammals. You know what I mean?
No, what?
Like the theory in Africa is like, because they still have the big mammals. You know what I mean?
The elephants and the rhinos.
Yeah, they still have these massive land mammals.
Yeah.
And because there was a like a Goldilocks zone during the Ice Age.
What?
In Africa?
Explain this to me.
Well,
I have not heard. I don't know this one. This is new to me.
Well, there's people. Well, technically, like there wasn't. It wasn't like a huge ice mass throughout the whole Earth. There was like a Goldilocks zone, I guess.
Oh.
So it was like almost.
So it's like kind of almost like the dinosaurs kind of survived. The mammoths or the really big animals survived because it wasn't icy.
Well, like I'm saying, like lions and elephants and giraffes.
Yeah, but like the idea that those big things, like it was warm enough there.
Yeah.
That the really big animals didn't go all the way extinct.
Yeah. Yeah. Or their ancestors, didn't go extinct,
Yes. Well, like that's what they talked about in the first episode with Graham Hancock in that ancient apocalypse show, that the Gunung Padang site, however you say it, in Indonesia, it's like they're finding stuff that's like, yeah, this was like at the end of the last ice age. So this was a civilization that existed during the ice age that we previously thought that could not possibly have been possible. And it's an advanced civilization.
Well, I think there was another like kind of weird thing about Göbekli Tepe. The pillars, some of the animals on the pillars were not native to that region.
Yeah, I remember that too. And it was like, why would they know about? Because I think they have elephants, like elephants and lions.
Elephant, yeah.
And like those, it's like, yeah, those animals wouldn't have been there. Like they're not.
They weren't native to that region. You know what I mean? Like somebody would have had to see those to travel to see them.
Right.
Yeah. So like Graham Hancock, one of his theories is that was a meeting point of two cultures.
Göbekli Tepe.
Yes. He thinks that this culture, he thinks it was a passage of knowledge at Göbekli Tepe, because
that's interesting.
It was because he says basically that was the birth of agriculture. Like,
yeah, because they talk about, and so in an ancient civilization show, they talk about like how there's like this goddess of agriculture in these different cultures, and suddenly all of a sudden all these cultures of civilizations had these different cereal grains, like different food grains that didn't used to exist on the planet. Where did they come from?
Yep. So basically, they think that the know-how of building and doing stuff like that, and then agriculture, were passed off to two cultures.
Okay, interesting. Like, so we'll teach you how to grow food, and we'll teach you how to construct buildings and stuff.
Well, because they don't have
that's interesting too, though, the idea of it being a Tower of Babel situation where you have two different cultures that are suddenly able to communicate with each other when they didn't used to, and being able to communicate allowed them to exchange knowledge and information to advance, to like mutually advance the humans in the cultures.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it kind of, it somewhat makes, because the reason they say that it makes sense that agriculture was passed on there by some culture, or was like designed in a way at that spot, because that was the first evidence of agriculture ever.
Well, and
at that spot.
And I think that is where they have that, like the goddess or whatever. It's like that's their lore or their origin story of it, is like that there was a goddess that came down and taught them about grains or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is super interesting. And I don't know. See, and
how did they know about agriculture? Maybe it was aliens. I
know. No, they talk about, so you gotta watch more Gaia TV, because I can get into some serious crazy on the how this all worked kind of stuff.
But see, like that's the reason I hate Ancient Aliens, because every episode, that's all it is. They say that 5 times.
I know.
How did they move all these big old rocks? Maybe with it.
That's why I like Ancient Civilizations, because it's done in a more serious, like I know, like the way the History Channel does it is so like hokey, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's so cheesy.
Like, yeah, but it's like that's their answer for everything. Maybe with aliens.
But it totally was. Yeah. They had to come and help us.
Right?
Like,
how do you explain these human bones in a place where they should never be? Maybe it was alien.
I know. But what if?
For everything.
You know, the thing that drives me nuts though about Ancient Aliens is they always make it like, but what if there's a more sinister reason? Like, they always have to make it like, oh, it's scary. Right. Oh, they're coming to get you.
Right. Like, and it could be something completely innocent. It could be like, why is there a flower bed next to this period? Maybe there was a double rape and murder over it. You know what I mean? It's just like I get it.
No, I totally am into all that stuff though. Like, There's a whole lot of shows. Like I said, that one initiation show where he talks about like different alien species that came to Earth and like why they came to Earth, and like they didn't come here to try to like fuck us all up or whatever.
But their logic never fucking makes sense. It just bugs me.
It doesn't have to make sense. It's the aliens. They know more than we do.
Well, I don't know. I like if I met that guy at a bar, the guy with the crazy hair, I wouldn't think this guy's a fucking guy I should be listening to. I'd be like, if I listen to this guy any further, it's gonna involve me going back to a house with his followers and drinking some fucking Kool-Aid. Go fuck yourself. That you know what I mean?
No, yeah, he does have a little bit of a vibe. That's why I do like Graham Hancock and like who's the other one?
Start the next Waco. Like,
watch out, yo! Be careful. He does though. He totally dresses like he totally dresses like he thinks he's freaking Indiana Jones. And whatever, do what you do, live your life. It's fine.
Who's that? Graham Hancock?
Giorgio Tsoukalos with the hair. It was the same thing.
Yeah. If that guy walked up to you in a bar and offered you a drink, would you drink it?
No, I would be like, I can't understand the hair because it is on purpose, but I can't understand, like, how is the purpose? It looks like you put hair gel in your hair right after you got out of the shower and just blow dried it and let it do whatever it was going to do.
But the thing that bugs me about this is you're a guy that I should be taking seriously, but how the fuck can I take you seriously?
Yeah. You're talking about all the things that I want to talk about, the aliens and all the good shit. But why you gotta make us all look like we're crazy? Like, come on, man. I mean, shit. Fuck, I say that why you gotta make us all look crazy. And I shouldn't talk, man. I'm sure I look like a crazy bitch.
Yeah.
My neighbors, I don't know.
Your neighbors?
I just think to myself, because sometimes I am just screaming at nobody in the house, and I just think the neighbors have to hear me, and they know I live alone.
Of course.
Like, of course. They have to think that I'm a fucking psychopath.
But yeah, like what I was talking about earlier was they found basically like people with like Aboriginal features, you know what I mean? And they think that
would have gotten from Australia to California?
Well,
California, Mexico.
Along the East Coast, Mexico, California, somewhere. Or no, the West Coast. West Side. West Side. But basically they found evidence of they're not Native American people. They don't have Native American features. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think they can do some variety of like DNA testing to some of that stuff sometimes, and like the DNA doesn't match, right?
Yeah. Well, they've also found like those skin boats or whatever, those animal skin boats.
Yeah.
Because they've been sewed, because you can sew them with like needles made from bones, I guess.
Yeah, that was what. Oh shoot, I can't remember. I think that was ancient civilizations they were mentioning it. Like, they had like little small bone needles and things like that. That like, okay, well, clearly they were making clothing. They had like, they were more advanced than we're giving them credit for.
Yeah. Well,
the idea of like the sort of movement of like the cultures or whatever. That's I think it's the Chaco Indian. I think it's the Chaco Indians. They're natives. The Chaco Canyon area, which is in like, what is it, Utah, sort of somewhere in the Southwest. But they say that like the genetics or what they're figuring out, kind of the same thing of like they came from like the Olmecs, like from the Inca Maya cultures, and they like went that further north. So that kind of same idea of like, you didn't think they traveled that far, but they did.
Well, I think to be honest, I think the evidence of this was from California, because I think the person that they were like researching was found in those tar pits.
Oh, La Brea tar pits.
La Brea tar pits.
Yeah.
They found some crazy shit in there, like a megalodon shark in downtown LA.
That's just fucking insane.
Like,
I gotta
excavating.
Total tangent now.
Let's do it.
So the La Brea tar pits, I listened to this episode. I can't Criminal. I think it's called Criminal, but it's not necessarily all true crime stuff. But they talked about this guy who was like an expert diver. I don't know if he was like a Navy SEAL trained and then became private, and I don't know. He was an expert diver.
Yeah.
And they had this murder case that was tied, they thought, to that the body was thrown in the La Brea tar pits.
Yeah.
And this guy was hired basically, and it was like a whole to-do production to figure out how to do it, to allow him to dive into the tar pits to go find evidence. Yeah, and to like, to let him dive in and fish him back out. And it like almost went wrong the first time. And then they tried again, but he was able to get the evidence that they were looking for. I don't remember if it was a body or what, but he was able to get the evidence out of the tar pits. Like, holy fucking shit, man. That's some scary ass shit being
scuba
diving in the tar pits. Fuck no, man.
Yeah, fuck you. But like
I mean, bless him for doing it, but no thank you.
Yeah. Have you seen like the bodies in the bottom of Lake Tahoe?
No.
Like
what is that
apparently
about?
Like Lake Tahoe, like the bottom of Lake Tahoe is so cold.
Okay.
Bodies they kind of preserve bodies, like they don't decompose.
Almost like those the bog people.
Kind of like it's basically it's kind of the same situation. It's at a temperature where it just will not decompose, like you know what I mean, or it like does it very slowly.
So but there's it's like it's aqua preserved somehow.
Yeah, but like there's fucking like I think like because like California and like Lake Tahoe and stuff, that used to be like mob resort shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, they talked about that stuff. I think in that episode that they think that the tar pits were very frequently used to like dispose of bodies.
Yeah, but I guess Lake Tahoe is a pretty fucking popular spot to get rid of a body as well.
Well, I'm not vacationing in Lake Tahoe then.
Yeah. Oh,
that shit.
They said in Lake Tahoe, it's weird because the water on the bottom is so cold that your body will not build up with gas to resurface. I think that's what it was.
So like it keeps.
So basically, your body just stays at the bottom.
Like
doesn't start to decompose.
Yeah, you don't float back to the surface. Yeah. That's interesting.
Or like your skin becomes basically cold and waterlogged, and it just starts peeling off of you or something.
Gross.
Well,
you don't know what's happening.
Your skin gets fucking wrinkly. Just imagine being in there for a year.
Oh, yuck. No, that makes me think of those. What was that ship that went down? That was they were all like half of them were eaten by sharks. It was like a naval ship or something in the
it was
40s. I can't remember, but they had that they were in the water for so long that their skin started to peel off.
Well, like a lot of them had wounds from the ship going down already, and then there was like
sharks.
They said like, well, there was sharks, but on top of that, there was fuel in like oil in the water.
So you were like you were covered in that stuff, and your skin started to slough off and Let's go back to aliens. Gross.
I watched a whole documentary about that. I listened to a podcast about it.
I was going to say, last podcast on the left did I think they had a 2 or 3 part series on it. I can't remember what it was.
It was Midway. That's what it was. It was a ship in the Battle of Midway.
Okay. I don't remember. I don't remember what it's called. I just remember that supposedly remember in Jaws, the guy, he was a survivor of it, supposedly.
Yeah.
But Finn was his name. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was during the Battle of Midway. They sunk a battleship somehow, or like a fucking transport ship. But if you want to listen to a really in-depth podcast about it, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever listened to that?
No, I've heard of it though.
Yeah.
But like last podcast on the left, they did a really good one on it too.
Yeah. He has a really good series about the Battle of Midway, and it's really interesting. If you don't know anything about like naval warfare in World War II, it's pretty interesting because by no means was the United States above and beyond better than because the Japanese had a really good fucking navy.
Yeah. We rewrite history how we want to see it.
Like the Japanese were not known for like land wars; they were a naval power. Yeah.
Well, but anyway, they didn't have a whole lot of land to war on.
But you know what? They did some dirty shit. You ever watch that fucking what's that documentary about? There was a city in China when they were taking over China. And it was like a green zone, like a place where it was like neutral, supposed to be neutral.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. It was on Netflix a while back, but it's a fucked up documentary about the occupation of whatever it was called.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm getting it because like last podcast did an episode on that too. It was like it's like Troop 70, not Troop, but like it's whatever their group was or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about
like their military group.
You're talking about Unit whatever, right?
Units. I can't remember. There's a 7 in it.
Yeah, that wasn't the name of a group. Unit 42 or something like that or whatever it was.
No, there's a 7 in it.
Okay.
I can't remember. I gotta look.
There was there's like documentaries about that too. That's the Japanese like experimental ward.
Yeah,
like,
where they did fucked up experiments on people. Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like the one that I remember most because we live in land of fucking winter. The one I remember most is something about they would pour water on people's hands in the freezing temperatures and just wait and see what would happen or wait till their skin whatevered and like horrible things would happen.
Well, they would do a lot of fucked up shit. They would basically like pour burning oil, boiling water, or just scald flesh.
Yeah, like they would just try to see what would happen.
Yep. One thing they would do is they would pull your teeth with no anesthesia and see how long you can withstand it without passing out.
They did like fucked up, gross shit. Just like the most ugliest, torturous.
Or if you were a woman. Yeah, if you were a woman, what they would do, they like to experiment with plague material.
Okay.
Like plague substance, like like the bubonic plague. Basically the bubonic plague.
Quit playing around with weird diseases, East Asia.
Well, the Japanese would do that. They would create it in labs basically, and then they would experiment with it on rats. And then if it worked on the rats, then they would basically. The Japanese weren't known for their their kind occupation. So what they would do is basically find a village and they would dump a bunch of plague material on it and see if it worked.
And see if you all get sick and die.
Pretty much. And
that's horrible.
Yeah. And then like
not very well thought out because how easily could that have then just spread and become a problem? If you're just
they're just
dumping whatever.
Work so they could put it in a bomb and threaten us with it. That's all they wanted. That's all they cared about. Because the United States was like basically we're the only reason they slowed down their occupation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of the entire fucking Asian continent, basically.
Yeah.
But like they would create the bubonic plague in laboratories, and then what they would do is I watched a documentary where they said they would basically put a cockroach in a vial with the bubonic plague, like in the vial, like they would, because a cockroach won't die from it.
Oh,
and
okay.
And basically what they would do is if you were a woman, they would basically put the cockroach up your vagina.
That's why.
And then basically eventually the cockroach would crawl either it would stay in your body or it'd make its way, out your mouth or back out or something like that. But you would have that plague material in you, and
that
then
sounds that sounds like insanity. That's how does that even work?
well, because the cockroach can withstand plague.
Yeah, but it can't be getting it can't crawl back out your mouth. That's not connected. What is that? I don't listen.
Basically,
here's what I'm gonna say.
I don't know.
You wonder why women are so upset with men. What is the deal? Goddamn, with the goddamn stupid ass fucking ugly stupid shit they come up with.
Well, no. I'm just saying that's how.
God damn it.
That's how it was presented as what they did. So don't talk to me about it.
You know what? Here's the thing. I don't want to even know, because it's one of those things that if 10% of what the stories are true, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Do you know what I'm saying?
All semantics
that is so worse than ugly.
Okay, all semantics aside about how it was inserted. It was inserted, and basically,
no,
hold on. And
I'm not saying I don't believe it.
They would just watch you wriggle on a fucking table for 3 days until you died. That's what happened. The Japanese were interested in the same thing the Nazis were interested in: world occupation. They wanted the world.
Yeah, and treating people like they're fucking lab rats.
Yeah.
Which is not even I don't even like that having to be done to lab rats. Leave the lab rats alone and leave the people alone.
Well, here's the thing. If somebody puts a gun to your head and says you can either do this or I'll shoot you right now.
No, you can fucking shoot me right now.
Well, a lot of people would take that route, but a lot of people are going to do that. So
no. Well, but I'm just saying, man, kind of like
the Nazis. When you have that many people under your thumb and you have propaganda works that well, you can convince a lot of people to do some fucked up shit.
I know, and it's fucked up. And I'm saying, humanity, can we please evolve beyond that? Yeah. Can we please? We've been doing this shit for fucking ever. Back to Vlad the Impaler used to impale people through the anus. Fucked up shit. Can we stop doing the fucked up shit, humanity?
Well, the thing about it is probably the worst things that have happened in World War II was Japanese occupation of China, and then basically the Nazis' occupation of fucking West
Poland
Russia.
And shit.
Poland and West Russia and all that
Holy
stuff.
Shit, they destroyed the fucking Polish, man.
Well, it's just yeah, I mean.
And they did. They killed I think Russia lost the most. I think right in World War II, Russia had the largest amount of casualties.
The thing about Poland was the reason the Poland got it so bad with the Nazis and Russia is because when the Nazis in Russia, basically right away they had a treaty where they would split Poland. That's the reason. Poland is the reason why the Nazis in Russia had a war. Because they split Poland down the middle, and then the Nazis started pushing into the Russian occupation of Poland, and then they started pushing into Russia.
For real. So
basically, Poland.
If we can we just for a second?
Hold on 1 second. But basically, Poland had a double invasion. They got invaded one way by the Nazis, but that's why they got it so bad. They were
and then you got Poland just sitting there being like, "Excuse me, what the fuck, man? We're just trying to be here."
But the thing about it, but this is the thing. If you don't have an army, it's kind of hard to say that. You're going to get fucking steamrolled.
No, but I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. Humanity, can we evolve beyond this? Because how much of a stupid shit sibling fight about territory is it to have a fucking war and kill people over, no, this is my side of the country. No, this is my side of the country. You can't have my land. Fucking grow up.
Well, let's be honest. Every world war or every war, for the most part, involves oil or a natural resource.
Somebody's trying to control all the resources.
Assholes. It's just that you got oil and we want
whatever. No, we are savage assholes.
Not really. It's
and listen, people. Here's the thing: we live in a world of lots of technology and advancements. How about come up with something where you don't need all that fucking oil? How about that? How about so we don't have to do it? But then you can't have all the war profiteering from the government and shit. Like, it's such a bunch of horse shit.
But you have to consider the Nazis when they were invading Russia. That's the only reason they were invading Stalingrad, because they wanted the oil. Oil keeps your conquest going. You do not go anywhere without oil. Oil makes oil.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, let's evolve beyond that, people. Like, so that we can stop having we don't have to give a shit anymore.
But that's really the only reason. Because I want to take more territory. I need more oil. So do it. You have the oil. I'm going to take over your country, take your oil, and then I'm going to take over another country. That was the mentality of the Nazis. They wanted to take over the world, and they were doing it country by country.
I don't know if you know the Nazi occult stuff. Like, Nazis were also like crazy mongers.
Yeah. Like, they were. Well, they were
the whole Aryan race thing. They were trying to be like the tall whites because and Hitler wanted the spear of destiny or some shit. He was like way crazy. Way crazy.
Yeah, but
I don't know how we got all the way from Göbekli Tepe to Nazis.
Nazis, yeah. Well, I can't remember where it went to, like World War II.
I don't know, something in Turkey. I don't know.
But like the Nazis were experimenting with a lot of weird shit too.
Oh fuck yeah, Mengele, fucking I watched. I don't know if you've ever seen what's it called? I think it's the Seven Dwarves of Auschwitz or something.
Okay.
Like, there was this, I think it was a traveling vaudeville type troupe. A lot of them were an extended family of dwarves or little people. And they were captured. I don't know that I can't remember if they were Jewish necessarily, or if they just were I think they were maybe from Poland, or they were of some group that the Nazis hated. I mean, it was fucking everybody. I mean, so it's hard to, I can't remember. But I think but there were these little people, and Mengele. I remember watching an interview with one of them, one that still survived, and was talking about Mengele would do weird shit to them specifically because they were little people, and he would do stuff like pour boiling hot water into their ears to just see what would happen because they were little people.
He would do things to twins as well.
Yeah, had a weird thing about twins.
And but they weren't really, I don't know, their experiments didn't really go anywhere. As far as experimental,
I mean, they
experimenting on how to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for as much as people say that we took the science and medicine and things from the Nazis, it's they did a lot of superfluous, stupid shit.
Yeah. But the worst, but no, the only reason I said Russia and Germany is because some of the worst World War II atrocities happened in Western Russia, or the Ukraine.
I believe it. I believe it 100%.
That's the first lands that the Nazis rolled through. You know what I mean? There's basically stories. There's documentaries on Netflix about the Nazi extermination squads that were going around that area.
Oh, let me tell you, I think it's a Ken Burns documentary. I swear to God, it's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. They had footage. They had actual footage of Nazis leading all these Polish peoples in lines and making them dig their own graves and then shooting them inside of the graves.
Well, there was
I just the most depressing thing to watch these people just 100% resign to their fate and just doing it.
Well, what choice do they have?
I mean,
they could run, but then they would get shot over there instead of over there.
The saddest, the most depressing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. But there's there's a documentary on Netflix. It's the German, it's basically the extermination squads in that were unleashed in the Western, and the Ukraines and all that shit, or Poland.
Yeah.
The extermination squads, it was something is Gruppen or something like that. But they were basically built from people that were like criminals and mentally ill people. And they would basically, they basically just gave them guns and let them go fucking. They would destroy
mercenaries from like the pieces of society that you should never give weapons to.
Well, yeah, but there was like stories of them like they would occupy, like German occupied land in Ukraine or something like that. They would get shot at one day from some rebel force or whatever, that was in this village, and then they would unleash this group of Nazis, like SS members, into this village, and they would basically just lead every member of this village to a pit and shoot them in the head.
It's just so fucked up. So fucked up.
But like, I don't know. I know a lot about fucking World War II. It's kind of weird. People think I'm weird for it, but
I mean, I don't know. It's, it's kind of one of those things that it's like, yeah, you need to look at that part of history and sort of deal with the ugliness that humanity has the capacity for, know, and it's like, come on, humanity, come on, we can be better. Because you think about it, World War II wasn't really that long ago when you consider how long human history is. When you're looking at Graham Norton, and it could go back to 24,000 years ago. And we've been doing this shit forever. Like, can we be done now?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like 1942 wasn't all that long.
Was not that long ago. When you look at the scope of humanity, it was not that fucking long ago, man.
It was fucking what?
Fucked up.
80 years ago?
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people still living who lived through it.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, man.
We still have kind of that situation going on in fucking North Korea, but that's an entirely different situation.
That's a whole other thing. But you know what? We brought it back around again to Graham Norton, so I think this is a good place to stop. Because look at us. We went off on some far tangents.
For sure.
And we brought it back because we're that amazing and super fun. And we hope everyone has had fun. I want to watch some more of this Graham Hancock stuff, and I think we should delve more into all these things.
Let's do it. I'm probably gonna watch one today, like probably tomorrow. So
I'm gonna have to go find the interviews he has on Joe Rogan now, because I didn't know he had, because and those are super long. Because I've watched a couple of Joe Rogan things. One of them I think was a guy who specialized in mushrooms. That's a whole other episode too. Psychedelics.
Yeah, he's on Joe Rogan quite a bit. Like, they just sit down and talk about stuff like that for hours. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it. I want to hear about it.
For sure.
For sure. I'm gonna fucking go binge it right now.
For sure.
But anyway, thank you for listening, everyone. Check us out. We're on the TikToks. I gotta post some stuff on the TikToks. I gotta get on our stuff. But Jonny Haleigh DOF and at gmail.com, and on Patreon. Support our Patreon. Email us. And yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. I've been Haley.
And I've been Jonny.
And this has been Jonny Haleigh Day of Fun. Woo!